Friends, now we'll see the concepts of compound interest. So first we'll see what is compound interest. So what is compound interest? So if the interest is added to the principal every year, so then it is said that the interest is compounded. So if the interval at which the interest is added to the principal may change. So if they say yearly, interest is calculated after 12 months. So after every 12 months, interest is calculated and it is added to the principal. So if they say half-yearly, interest is calculated for every 6 months, and after every 6 months, interest is added to the principal. So in this compound interest, there is interest for interest. So as we are calculating the interest on the interest added principal, principal is cumulative. So in the question, if mode of interest is not mentioned, so we can work it out using simple interest concept itself. So they will mention as compounded. So only if they mention compounded, we will use it compound interest working. And if in the question, compound interest is mentioned and if the period is not mentioned, it means that interest is calculated for every 12 months. So they will mention as half yearly or quarterly. Only then the interest is calculated after every 6 months or 3 months. So we'll see how to calculate the amount and interest in compound interest. So in simple interest, we had formula to find the interest itself. So that is simple interest equal to PNR by 100. So but for compound interest, we have the formula to calculate the amount. So from that we can calculate the interest also. So here the formula to calculate the amount is amount equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power N. So as mentioned earlier, P is the sum of money deposited, N is the period in which the amount is deposited, that is the number of years, and R is the rate percent. So we'll see the workings concepts of compound interest. So to find the compound interest, we have the formula to find the amount. So A is the amount which is got after the interest is added to the principal. So in compound interest, we have direct formula to find the amount itself. So amount is P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power N. So P is the initial value, that is the amount which we invest, and 1 plus R by 100 is the change factor, it is a rate percent. So if it is multiplied, so for the next year the increased principal will get the increased principal, and N is the number of years. So if it is deposited for 2 years or 3 years, so the change factor is multiplied for 2 years or 3 years. Say in the question, if the period is not mentioned, it means that interest is calculated for every 12 months. So the rate which is given in the question, so they'll mention as R% per annum. It means that whatever the rate is given in the question is calculated, it is for 1 year, and this interest is for 12 months only. So if the period is not mentioned, it means that interest is calculated for every year or for every 12 months. So they may mention as yearly, or if the period is not mentioned, it means that the period is yearly, or for every 12 months interest is calculated. Suppose if in the question the rate is given as 16%, it means for every 12 months interest for 100 is 16 rupees more. So interest is 16 rupees. And if they mention as half yearly, it means that for every 6 months the interest is calculated. So in 1 year, how many 6 months are there? 2 6 months. So it means that twice the interest is calculated. So when they mention as half yearly, for every 6 months interest is calculated, and in 1 year 2 times the interest is calculated. So to find the amount for half yearly, so half yearly means 6 months. For every 6 months interest is calculated. So in 1 year twice it is calculated, so the period will be doubled, 2n. And now if the rate is 16%, so whatever is given in the question will be for 1 year. It means for 100 you will get 16 rupees more. And what will be the amount got for 6 months? It is half of 16, which is 8. So for 100, you will get 8 rupees as interest. So where rate is 8%. So when they say half early, period will be doubled and rate will be half. That is R by 2 into 100 or R by 200. So when they say half early, the amount is calculated as P into 1 plus R by 200 power 2n. Suppose if they mention as quarterly. So quarterly means how many months? So they think that it is 4, but quarterly means for every 3 months interest is calculated. See, the same rate percent is 16. So quarterly means for every 3 months interest is calculated. And how many 3 months are there in 1 year? So you have 4 3 months. And means how many times the interest is calculated? It is calculated 4 times. So in 1 year, 4 times it is calculated. So period becomes 4n. Now when they say quarterly, the period becomes 4n. And what will be the rate? So for half yearly we divided by 2. So for quarterly, divided with 4. So after 16% per annum, for quarterly, rate will be 4% for every quarter. So divide the rate by 4 into 100 or 400. So in the question, if it is mentioned as half yearly or quarterly, so you can find the amount for half yearly, P into 1 plus R by 200 power 2n. And if it is mentioned as quarterly, P into 1 plus R by 400 power 4n. So if the period is not mentioned, so we can use the formula A equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power n, where interest is calculated for every 12 months. So now we'll see how to find the amount or the compound interest using this formula. So now we'll see an example. So the question which was asked in the exam, LIC AOO 2005. So the question is, Anita invested an amount of rupees 8,000 in a fixed deposit scheme for 2 years at compound interest rate 5% per annum. How much amount will Anita get on maturity of the fixed deposit? So in this question, the period for which it was deposited is 2 years and the rate percent is 5% and the amount deposited is rupees 8,000. So we'll see what will be the amount of this 8,000 for this 2 years. So we'll see the working using the formula. So to find the amount, we have the formula. So amount equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power n. So here the period is not mentioned. So interest is calculated for every 12 months. So it means rate is R and period is n. Number of years is 2. So for 2 years it is interest is calculated for 2 years or 2 periods. So the sum deposited, that is value of P, is rupees 8,000. And the rate percent is 5 and n is 2. 2 years. So substituting the values in this formula, we can find the amount. So amount is 8,000 into 1 plus 5 by 100 whole power 2 whole square. So because number of years is 2. And now to calculate this, so it is 1 plus 5 by 100 or 100 plus 5, 105 by 100. The whole square. And now after calculating this, we get the amount got by Anita after 2 years. That is 8,000. And squaring this 105 into 105. So to get the value, 105 is squared. And there is a shortcut to multiply this 105 into 105 or square of 105. So whenever you have 0 or 1 here, so square this 5, 25, and double this 5. So 5 into 2 is 10. And write 1. So square of 105 is 11025 by 100 square. So when you are cancelling out, so you can't cancel inside the square. So many do that. So they cancel these zeros which is inside the square. But this has to be squared and then cancelled. So now when cancelling it is, so for 3 zeros, now multiply 8 with 11025. So 8 into 25 is 200 and 8 and 8 divided by 10. So here the amount value got is so in this question we are asked to find the amount. So the amount after 2 years for 8,000 is rupees 8,820. So using the formula, so we have got the amount for the given amount, period and rate percent. So we'll see the next question. So where interest is asked.